Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Cartoon Soup podcast. Today we're talking about Gotham by Gaslight. So let's just get started. We follow Bruce Wayne in an alternative universe Gotham during the Victorian era, which he has to find a serial killer Jack the Ripper, and he does. Okay, I don't want to be a hater. I think this is a good movie, but I don't think this movie was my thing specifically because I'm not the biggest fan of historical fiction. I am just not interested in most historical fiction because they always seem to have the same time period plot. I swear almost every historical fiction I've seen is either a World War II story or like something Victorian. I feel like those are the only two stories I see when it comes to historical fiction. And for that, I'm just not interested in those anymore. I still enjoy them from time to time, but I think the fact that this was Victorian era, I just wasn't the biggest fan of. So I do think the vibes of this movie were great. I think the way they set the scene was great. I just wasn't interested in the scene in general. I think this is my favorite Catwoman that we've seen so far, and I think that's very surprising for me because okay, Catwoman is it's something we've only seen in like the 66 movies, and I think that's it. I mean, we've seen an older version of Catwoman in a Batman movie, but I think that's literally the only times we've seen Catwoman in Batman movies so far. Am I not wrong?
I genuinely cannot remember. We watched
Okay,
too
I think
many.
that I know, I know. I think that is the case though. So I guess the bar was low to begin with, but this set the bar high. I just feel like the banter Selena had with Bruce Wayne, it was just really great, and I really enjoyed that. I just think that the way they fit together so well really added a lot to the story. Okay, I need to get woke. I'm gonna get a woke off. So if you don't want that, click away. You know what else I hate about historical fiction? I feel like a lot of it has like this male gaze bullshit where it puts women through shit to tell like the male audience. Like in this movie, there's a scene where like Bruce and Selena are pretending to be fucking, so the police won't see them as suspicious. But like, could you not have come up with any other plot point to get past this plot? Like, I don't know. That's just me.
I'm gonna have to push back on this only because it feels like in that scene, it didn't feel like they were trying to sexualize Selena. It
Okay,
just felt like
my
they were both in a compromising position. It
okay.
didn't
Here's
feel
my
like
other
they were
thing.
trying to show anything else.
Okay, I get that. Here's my other thing. Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
In the beginning of this movie, Poison Ivy was here, and I feel like why was she here? Why was she here? Like I felt like the only reason they had her here was to have her like be a strip dancer or something and then die, and I just didn't get it. I was just so annoyed by that. Like, I mean, do you have an argument for that? Because I'd love to hear
I
it.
know,
But
I
like,
she was here to be a victim.
yeah, and I didn't like that. Like okay, she was here to be a victim, but I also feel like they didn't need to show that scene of her like stripping and like I felt like it was only there to titillate the male audience. For me personally, that's how I feel because I feel like they could have shown like that she's a sex worker without having that scene specifically. You know?
Once again, I'm gonna have to push back only because they weren't showing her body off. Like, yes, she was stripping, but it wasn't like it wasn't the scenes that we've gotten before
Hmm.
where like women were not only objectified, but it wasn't wanted, I guess. And I feel like I don't know, I just didn't get that vibe from this.
Okay, maybe that's just me, or maybe that is true. I just personally like whenever I see something like that, I just can't help but feel guarded after the shit we've seen so far with like the way they showed Barbara and the Killing Joke and everything. You know how it is. I just can't help but really stand for that shit, even when they're not trying to like show fan service.
Okay. I think what I'm viewing this as is we do have these scenes where I get like take Pamela, right? She's dancing and then she's also like a sex worker. Okay. But also it's not because they want to sexualize her. It's because they're showing that there is this woman who is in a vulnerable position in this society, and then we have Jack the Ripper who is taking advantage of that and making her a victim. They're not doing it because they want to show off Pamela. They're doing it because they're showing that this man is committing these crimes to these particular types of people.
Okay, I get that. Let me see. I wrote something down about that, but like I don't know, I feel like they could have shown a better way of, like, doing that without, like, having the weird stripping scene or, like, the weird scene where, like, Batman and Selena are pretending to, like, have sex. I don't know, that's just me. I feel like there are ways to show that without showing that, you know? That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad they made Jim Gordon a murderer. Like, I doubt I could have been any other character in the story, but I just also don't like Jim Gordon anymore. After we saw that cheating movie, I just can't love Jim Gordon anymore. So I'm glad they made him the murderer. And I also think the twist of him being the murderer was also just pretty great overall.
Okay. Crazy turn of events, Marco. In this story, Harvey Dent is the cheater. And, Jim Gordon's just your run of the mill woman hater who likes to murder women. Now, my question is, moving forward, do we now have to change the question to, does Jim Gordon hate women and does he want to kill them? Or do we stick to, is Jim Gordon a cheater?
We gotta switch to does Jim Gordon hate women?
Okay. And I'm okay with that. And it's not going to make sense to any new listeners, but it'll make sense to any of them who've stuck with us.
Yeah. If you know, you know. Like, and honestly, if you don't, you're lucky. You must be truly blessed for you to have not seen those movies, you know? But yeah, I'm just so glad they made him the murderer. I think the way they like executed it was really great. I also just think he's fucking crazy, and I really love that. Like, I just like him as the villain. Okay, unnecessary characters. Why was Hugo Strange in this? I felt like he didn't need to be here. Like, I get it. I get that they used him to like show the mind of the murderer, but I feel like he didn't need to be here at the same time. Like, I feel like they could have any other character do that. That's just my opinion.
I think the reason they put him in here is because they wanted some sort of psychologist or doctor in here, and they were like, well, we already have one of those characters in the DC universe, so why not use him?
But I feel like they could have just used any other random psychologist, you know? Maybe
But
that's
he's
just
already
me.
established in the universe.
I know. I just didn't want him to be here because honestly, I don't like Hugo Strange. That's just me. Anyways, that's it.
Okay. Jump scare. I know that in older Batman stories, Gordon's wife's name is Barbara, but we're past that. The general public knows Barbara as Gordon's daughter, so you can't make his wife have that name and be a redhead. It just felt so wrong. Okay, I don't understand Leslie's death. I understand it, but I don't. Obviously, she had to die, but I don't understand why she was so chill about it. And it also seemed like she knew it was going to happen and was like, okay, well, I'll just go over to this area where no one else is while a serial killer is out on the town, and I'll just stand here.
She was definitely trying to prove a point, but what's worth proving a point when you're dead? You know?
I don't think I fully understood it. Maybe I'm not that intelligent enough, but
No, I kind of get where you're coming from. I don't know. I do get it, but I also feel like what's the point of like trying to prove a point when you're like dead at the end of the day? You know? Maybe that's just me.
was she trying to prove that it's not just like the disenfranchised women that are being attacked? Or was she trying to like get the attention of other people to be like, "Hey, I'm literally a nun and I was murdered."
Well, no, I think what I got from that scene was like she is saying, "I'm not gonna scream, I'm not gonna yell, I'm not gonna make you happy," because she knew that the reason, well, she thought the reason Jim Gordon was killing people was for his own satisfaction, and she's like, "I'm not gonna give you that satisfaction." I thought that's what I got from that scene.
Question is, why did she do that? I
I
guess.
know that's what I'm saying. Like okay, you proved your point, but like you know,
I just don't think I know what they were going for with that.
well,
I
I
just
I
I think the
personally think
setup
she was.
I think the setup I didn't understand.
Yeah, I get that, but I understand what she was trying to do, but I also think it's kind of dumb.
It felt like she was walking into something and she knew she was walking into something, and I don't understand why she purposefully walked into that. Like and when that scene does happen where like she's where like the Jack the Ripper is there at her, then I understand why she says those things because like, she believes that he's getting something out of it. I just don't understand the setup. I don't understand the process of how we got there. That doesn't make sense to me. And that's the issue I have. Okay, generally, I see nothing wrong with the whole darn it, I'm 1 minute too late thing. But when that happens like 5 times in a row, something's got to give. At that point, you've lost whatever tension could have been built up, and now I'm bored because I know that whatever the baddie interacts with someone, they're gonna be a victim, unless they happen to be the romantic interest of the main character. But other than that, they're donezo, and I'm a little bored. CGI horses. The horses were CGI. Next note. I can't believe we met final boss Gordon because like we established he's not a cheater. He's a woman killer. He's a woman killer who believes women deserve to be hurt. I can't imagine we'll meet a worse version of Gordon. That being said, is this really a big surprise? A cop who abuses his wife and uses his position of power to get away with committing heinous acts against disenfranchised groups? Raise your hand if you're shocked. The crowd is still.
We joked about this, but we definitely need to make a tier list of which Jim Gordons cheated on his wife and which Jim Gordons hate women.
At that point, shouldn't we make a what's it called? A Venn diagram?
No, but that's the point. We're just gonna like, okay, Jim Gordon from Bad Blood, yes. Jim Gordon from Batman Unlimited, yes. Jim Gordon from,
Yeah, we need to make a Venn diagram. We need to do it. We can
okay.
do it when we do our rankings. It'll be a cute little bonus. Okay, yeah, that's it. Overall?
Overall, I think this is a pretty good movie. The vibes were amazing. Just the way everything was set up, the scenes, the Victorian vibes, I think they were pretty great. I just personally could not love this movie because one, it's historical fiction, and two, I just didn't like the weird scene. Okay, we had the discussion, but I personally feel like it was a bit weird the way they shed poison ivy and like that scene with Selena in this movie. But yeah, I think overall it was pretty okay.
Okay, listen. Do I think it's a good story? Yes. Did I like what they did with Gordon? No, not really. But, he's still a cop, so he was never on the top of my list of favorite Batman characters. I just have issues with stories about women dying. And also it was just really tough to hear him talk about how he believes that like all women are basically living in sin and they're all whores and sluts and they need to be corrected and fixed. And the way to do that is to torture them and or kill them. That was tough to hear. But other than that, I think that was my only issue with the story. But other than that, I also liked I don't have an issue with like historical fiction in general. Obviously, in historical fiction, there are usually only a handful of times where the people usually pick to have that story in. But I think I just like the animation, I guess, of like old-timey Victorian era. I don't know. I liked it.
What did you think of the Batman suit?
I liked it.
Okay, just want to make sure. I forgot to ask about that.
I liked it. Okay. If we're gonna bring that up, should we also ask questions about how we felt about the, voice actors?
I thought the voice acting was pretty okay for the most part. I didn't hate it.
I liked it. I think that whoever voice act, Batman did a stellar job, and I also liked,
Mm.
Selina's voice actor. And, also, obviously, this gets points for having Selina and Bruce make kisses. Listen, if I haven't made it clear yet, Bruce and Selina are my OTSP, one true straight pairing.
Wait, don't you also like Superman and Lois Lane?
Oh, yeah, I do. But I think Bruce and Selena are above them, and then it's Superman and Lois.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Mal, I asked you this before. Okay, Mal, I asked you this before, and I'll ask you this again. If you had to predict where you would rank this from S to F, where would you rank it?
What do you think I ranked it?
An A?
I did. I did. I ranked it an A.
I think I could tell. But yeah, that makes sense. What did you think I ranked it?
I think you ranked it a C.
Yeah, I did. Oh my god, we
So-
got both of them right.
Oh my
And
god,
I
it's
feel like
like
it's
we
pretty
know each
obvious
other.
why. Yeah. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? Well, you can tell
Whoa,
me people know each other.
it's crazy. It's almost like we're friends.
Anyways, we need to move on. That's everything for today. Do we have social medias in the description? Goodbye.